Welcome back to a sunny day in Miami, sunnier inside our studio because we have the talented, the renowned Edouard Duval Carrie. Good morning.
Good morning, and you always have me blushing.
Well, I have
Thank
to
God
tell
nobody
you.
sees me.
Well, they are going to see you. We are filming live
Oh.
and we're going to post this. And so we're very happy to be on the Money Man segment every Friday at 10:42. Art Talk with Susana Baker brings all the wonderful people from the neighborhood into our studios, and these are global neighborhoods, but you are one of the treasures of Miami. You have a very interesting life. As an artist, you have really created your iconic images using nature, using beautiful pictures that you look and you smile, but when you start to decode them, you realize that they talk about some real serious nature there.
Serious problems.
Some serious problems. You know, I remember a show that I went and saw, Metamorphosis, and you had, and so for those that are listening, Edouard Duval Carrier is Haitian-born artist. He was raised in Puerto Rico. He had his education in Canada as well as in Paris. And I'm going to ask you for some of the accolades that I know you've studied around the world. You're very well commissioned by museums collected. I have some fabulous shows. I know the Knight Foundation and different grants are given to your Haitian Cultural Arts Alliance, which you founded back in, when did you find that?
Oh my goodness, it's more than 10, 15 years ago.
15 years ago.
Yes.
And you did it in Little Haiti.
Yes, we are Haitian, and I moved to Miami because there was a little Haiti, and it was quite fascinating because when I first got there, it was a very interesting neighborhood, but very isolated, and I couldn't find any really real places there to and my wife also said there's no schools there, and so like we opted to go to the beach and raised our kids there. But I've always wanted to have a space in Little Haiti, and I do now. And now I'm surrounded, fortuitously, I'm surrounded by the Little Haiti Cultural Center, because they left me in the middle of it.
Right, thank God they didn't want to tear you down.
Yes.
I know that development in Miami, there's construction all over the place, there's constant development, and we're happy to see that a lot of the developers are adding art to their buildings. The Museum Garage that just opened, Design District, with 5 fabulous artists. But going back to your shows and what you bring to the table, it has been amazing, has been well received by so many major art institutions and schools. And I know you've been a professor at Duke University. You have been in your Haitian Cultural Arts Alliance. You also have resident artists, and you show different artists, Carl Hust, Emilio Martinez. You have been a real pioneer, not only in bringing and being one of the first prominent residents of Little Haiti, but also always bringing back the Caribbean diaspora. And you do it through your works. One of your pictures, beautiful girl in turquoise petticoat, and then she morphs into a tree. Her hair are cotton balls on a big blue sky of cotton clouds, and you look at something and it stands out, and it's got this warmth to it because of the colors you choose. Your choice in your paintings and your colors are so unique and so beautiful. It has that Caribbean infusion. You know, when you use that orange, you use the real orange of a sun setting or of a forest burning. And when you use your turquoises and your blues and your imaginary landscapes, I mean, who can forget those? You know, and every picture, though it stops you, you want to stare at it, and every time you keep looking, you find more and more.
Well, that girl in question was shackled to, to the United States.
At the end of her ankle, she has a shackle. And so you have works that really talk about the historic timelines of Caribbean islands, especially yours that you were born, the first island in the Caribbean to get freedom from slavery. You do Toussaint Louverture, fabulous. Everybody knows Edouard Duval, Carrier's Toussaint Louverture. And I want to.
I'm very interested in history because I think that people forget very easily, and also the idea that the Caribbean is a backward place or that it has, culturally insignificant. That's what a lot of people have said in the past. I find it totally the contrary. It's the first encounter between Europe, the Americas, and Africa, and it's a very peculiar particular place with a very strong history. And Haiti is dead right in center in that whole history, not just for it as Haiti itself, but as a region. The whole archipelago is tied with now, today, even more so, with a place like Miami. I mean, one has to wonder, is Miami a southern city of the United States, or is it a northern Caribbean city? You know, because
Very much so. Well said. Yes,
you know,
you're right.
yeah, so you have to think about these kind of things and make sure that people understand in what kind of context they live. And my work is all about that, you know, like, I mean, okay, now we live in Miami, and what is it about, you know, like Miami that makes it so particular? Yes, people sing praises, you know, like to its beauty, to its economic, you know, like booms here and there. I mean, but at the same time, it still maintains, you know, like its ties to the rest of the region, and it has, you know, like been. I mean, I remember one of the Penelas telling me, you know, like we are one of the most multicultural cities in the world, you know, like not even in the United States, in the world. I mean, and I said, why do you say that? He said, oh, there are more than 200 nations here. And I've always, you know, I've said, well, maybe he's right. You know, it's a city that has been very welcoming, that has been, you know, like a melting pot, as they say, but at the same time, you know, like being accommodating as well, you know, like for all of its foreign borns, you know, because I mean, I must have met in the 20 years that I've been here, 5 persons that can say that they were born and raised here.
Yeah, it is. Miami is definitely the first home you touch if you want to touch the Americas. North America, Miami, if you're coming from the Caribbean or Central America or South America, this would be the place. And we do speak 127 languages and dialogues in Miami. And I always say it's a volunteered segregation. So if you come from Russia, Sunny Isles. If you come from Venezuela, Doral. If you come from Haiti, Little Haiti. If you come, Puerto Ricans was Wynwood. Of course, there's a lot of gentrification that's happened. Havana, it would be Little Havana. Then afterwards, it became Hialeah, and then all that came with the visa in 1960 is now Coral Gables. So yeah, Miami's definitely a place that is on its own. People can't even believe it's part of the United States. And it's people like you, amazing, wonderful people that we treasure because you do speak about colonialism, you speak about slavery, how it did help the United States economically. If it wasn't for the slave structure, you really bring that in your works and in your books that you've authored. And I know that the last time I saw you, and it's been a while, it's been a year since Art Basel. And for anyone listening, you definitely want to get to Miami for Art Basel, and you could always hit me up at the Art Experiences through Instagram or Facebook. You could go to ArtTalk with Susana Baker, and I'll be happy to tell you anything you want on Art Basel. But, you know, Edouard Duval Carrier with his organization, the Haitian Cultural Arts Alliance, does an amazing show with your studio and with the Cultural Center of Little Haiti.
Yes.
And the last time I saw you did a show called Aponte, and we only have about 5 minutes left, but I'd love you to talk about that show and where it's traveling and what people could expect from your next show.
Well, in a nutshell, we formed something called the Global Caribbean, which is an exhibit that we do every year during Basel. And we try to bring to force, you know, because we, at the beginning, almost 12 years ago now, we were facing the fact that lots of Caribbean contemporary art was not being presented in the art fairs, you know, like during the Miami Basel extravaganza that happens every year. But this slowly is changing. But still, you know, like we aim in presenting, you know, like, I mean, the same kind of, and I always find ways to do that. I mean, to find, you know, like themes that could incorporate or that is, you know, like Caribbean based. And this year we had a fabulous show on Jose Antonio Aponte, who's a Cuban rebel, slave, but also artist. And we've asked artists, you know, like to look at his work and at his life. And the show has had a lot of success, was presented during Basel last year, and already has gone to New York City at NYU, is following to Duke University, will be down in Haiti, and then a turn of Cuba, which is delighted to receive, you know, like one of their own.
Well, I love the show, and you had a roster of very amazing contemporary artists, all Caribbean, and they're
Not only all Caribbean,
Was it?
African American.
African American,
It was a
African
diasporic.
The diasporic. And so, where can we find Edouard Duval Carrier? You could just Google him, Duval, Duval Carrier.
Carrie.
And you also were knighted by the government of France.
Yes, Chevalier.
Chevalier des Arts.
Des Arts et des Lettres.
Yes, arts and letters. So you're actually a knight. I'm sitting in front of a
please.
knight. I've waited for a knight all my life.
Your knight in shining armor.
My knight in shining armor. Edouard Duval Carrier, I love you. I can't
Thank you
wait.
for having me.
We can go to Little Haiti to see your studio. They can look you up. The next show?
The next show in Basel, and I have so many other
Art
other
Basel.
shows. Next time we'll talk about it.
Yeah, and I'll also bring you back next time. And again, Art Talk with Susana Baker. Please go on to 880thebiz.com every Friday at 10:42 to listen to From the Red Carpet to the Canvas, the exciting happenings of Miami's art scene. See you next Friday.